progressing well. So the main thrust for this lesson is to ensure that each one of you is able to import some tables, import CSV files into your database. Then after importing, you should be able to create relationships based on the tables that you have imported, and also to show the appropriate screenshots that are required when after you have done the importing of your tables, and as well is to move on to other aspects like relationships, the one-to-many relationships, using primary key and foreign key. Then as well as creating basic objects like a form or a report. Alright, so I'm going to, we are using the same folder that we use in class for our source files. So the folder is for database, and if you look, these are simple text files, CSV files, comma separated values for CSV. So when you're given a CSV file, you don't even need to open the file. What you just need to do is to create a new database. So that's what I'm going to do now. So I'm going to right click on a free space, then I'm going to go to new, then I'll choose Microsoft Access Database. After choosing that, I'll give a name. So you're going to use your name as well as your surname for the database. So name as well as surname, and then one more thing is you can also include your class. So name, surname, then class. So press enter. You now have a database showing a student name and surname. So after that, I'm going to open the database. So when you open your database, you need to be ready for the simple steps, the basic steps of importing, and those are the basics. Once you know how to import, then you know after importing you start to collect your marks, easy marks in database. So importing is the crucial part of database. I'm going to import the name or content here. So go on to external data. That's the first step. Remember, we're saying we're going to import a text file, which is a CSV file. So I need to go to external, then text file, because we need to import a CSV file. So I'm going to go to text file, then I'll go on to choose this option in order to browse. As I browse, I'm trying to locate where my folder is. I'm going to desktop, and my folder is there for database. So open that one. So like what I said earlier, we are going to be focusing on the last two tables. I'm starting with the second last, then I'm going to click on open. So the option to choose now is okay. Then delimited, always keep it as delimited. So then I'm going to click on next. Then from there, this is mandatory. You have to make sure that always choose first row contains field names. Otherwise, if you don't do that, we have a situation whereby instead of having the field names here, you'll be having field 1, field 2, field 3, and your database will be improper. So always this option has to be checked. Go on to next. Then from here, we need to choose data types, and we are sure you're now familiar with data types. And we always say when you are using characters, letters, alphabetic characters, we have to choose the short text. So that's short text data type for author, title, book ref, even though it also includes some numbers. So a mixture of numbers and text all falls under short text. So that's a short text as well. So I'm going to publisher now. So the publisher, let me scroll so that I see all the remaining fields. So publisher, short text as well, book format, short text. Year release, check this one. These are numbers only, and they're whole numbers. So I'm going to choose integer. So the numbers that you use at this level, they're not large numbers, because long integer is a very large number. But for now, all numbers should make sure that you keep them as integer. For price, you could use double. Double is a data type that allows for real numbers, allows for decimals. So it will be fine. But since you know price is monetary, so you have to make sure that anything that is monetary, you should use currency. So I'm using currency here. Number of item, again, it's a whole number, so I'm just using integer. Pages, another whole number, I'm going to use integer as well. Then available, if you check, this one seems to be having only one or two, only two options, -1 and possibly a 0. So if there are two options, we have to use a data type called a yes/no. So it means it's either you are choosing yes or no. So that we considered as Boolean. I think we had done one or two Boolean examples in our previous lessons. So I'm going to click on next. From here, I'm going to choose my own primary key as usual. And primary key, by definition, you know, is a field that identifies records, that uniquely identifies records in a database. So from this table, if you look at book ref, the values are not repeating in any way. If you look at 345, just appearing once, 421 appearing once. So these are unique values. That's why we are choosing this field as the primary key. Then you go on to click on next. Then you click on finish. So from there, you then go on to close. So once we have done that, we now have our books table, and our books table will be shown here on the left side. So I can do a few things on this book table. I can go on to double click on the table. If I double click on the table, I can even see the number of fields that I have. So the fields are the columns in a database, if you still remember. So if I count the columns, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 10 fields in this table. Then the records are so many. So the records are showing the rows of a table. Those are the records, not including the titles, not including the field names. So if you count from Tom here, James, Stephen, those are our rows going across. So all in all, here at the bottom, it can show you the number of records in this table, and it's showing 1,655 records. So those are the records that we have in this books table. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to close the table. If you don't want to use this name for the table, you can even right click on it and rename. So make sure you close the table first, and that's when you're able to rename. Any object you want to give a name, you need to close it first. So by closing, you'll be clicking the inner X here, then it closes. Avoid clicking the top X because it closes the whole database. So this table, maybe I need to change it to my underscore books. So that's how you can name a database object. So it now has that name. So if I want to check other items within my table, I can just right click, then go on to design view. So the design view, I'm sure you're familiar with the design view. Design view, this is where we usually take the screenshots. After, when you go to the design view, we need to make sure that the primary key is shown, like this key is showing, the field names are showing, the data types are showing. Then you need to take your screenshot evidence and paste in your evidence document. And if you remember, screenshots, we use the snippet tool to do the screenshots, and we paste them in a Word document. So that's it for this one. I'm just going to do one more thing here on this table. I'll just create a very simple object using this table. I'm going to create an object called a form. So if I go to create here, I can go on to choose the form wizard. Then from the form wizard, I'm going to choose the table that I have. For now, I just have one table, so I'm going to choose books table. This arrow shows that you need to select one field at a time, but I need to select all the fields when creating forms. So forms, they are also known as data entry forms. They enable you to enter information into your table. Rather than entering data directly into your table, you use a form to nicely enter one record at a time in your database. So I'm going to go on to click on next. After selecting all the fields, I'm keeping everything as usual, as it is for now. So columnar, I'll keep it as it is. Then here I can give a name to my form. So here I'm just going to add the word form. So since I'm creating a form, so I'm just going to call it my books form. I'll just open the table in form view. So I'm opening my form rather in form view. So that's the form. So with a form, you are able to view one record at a time. At the bottom, it can show you the number of records that you have in your database. So I've got, like we have shown earlier in the table, these are the number of records, 1,655. But with a form, I'm able to add another record. And how do I add another record? A new record to a form. I just click on this icon here with the yellow color. This shows a new blank record. It allows me to enter a new record. If I click on it, it clears all the fields, and I can go on to enter whatever name that I want. So maybe the author is Annie. Then the book title is could be Science Intro, something like that. Book ref, you could enter whatever information is for the book ref. You go on to enter your publisher. You go on to enter the format code and all the other information for your table. If you go on to click on next, it will allow you to save. I can go on to close my form. So now you have two database objects here. I've got a table, and for a table, remember a table has got two views. If you double click, it shows a datasheet view. If I right click on the name, I can see the other view, which is known as the design view. So I'm going to close that one. If I go into the form, if I double click on the form also shows the same. So the form shows what we call the form view. If you right click on the form, you are able to see the other views for the form. The form has got the form view, it has got the layout view, and it also has the design view. So you should, for every object you're going to create, it's crucial that you know what the views are that you need to locate. So those are the basics. You should be able to import a table. When you import, you should be able to add another object. So here, like in this case, we managed to add an object called a form. So a form enables you to see one record at a time. It enables you, it has got these navigation buttons which allows you to move from one record at a time. And not only that, it also allows you to add a new record, and you are adding a new record using this icon. So there are a number of things that can be done on a form. You can also add your own controls to a form, like checkboxes, like combo boxes, like command buttons. So those objects will make your form to be more user-friendly. We'll look them in one of the forthcoming exercises, but for now, for this particular first part of our video, you need to know how to import a table and to create a form. Thank you.